Welcome back to the 4th episode of Tips from Dad. These tips are mainly for my children, but if you want to tune in and get some ideas from them, go for it. Anyway, today we're going to do an easy method of making jam in the microwave. And the type of jam we're doing is Feijoa jam. That's a New Zealand fruit that is in season at the moment, but you can use other types of fruit. Okay, we've got some Feijoas here today. This is Feijoa season. It's almost the end of the season, and it's a local fruit that is very flavoursome and it makes great jam. Now, if you don't have Feijoas, you can use Kiwifruit, or kiwis as they're called in some places. And if you don't have kiwis, just whatever yummy fruit is in season in your country, you can pretty much use for this recipe. Okay, so we get these Feijoas, and what we need is 500 grams of fruit in this 2-litre microwave jug. And I've got some scales over here, and we're going to weigh out 500 grams of fruit. So we cut these Feijoas in half. Now, when you're making Feijoa jam, if they've been well washed, you can actually put the skin in as well, or you can scoop it out of the skin. And the same with the Kiwifruit, you can scoop it out of the skin, or you can put the skin in the jam, whatever you prefer. Probably with the skin of the Feijoa, it gives it a slightly stronger flavour, Feijoa flavour. But you can scoop it out like that. Or if you are going to use the skin, you want to slice it. Maybe into chunks of about that size. You can see that, because that's going to cook down, and those are going to be little chunks that are on your toast, and they're going to be absolutely delicious. Okay, now we've got our 500 grams of Feijoas here, and you can see they're quite chunky, and that's fine for making jam. And I'm going to now put this in the microwave and zap it on high power for 10 minutes to cook the fruit. That's cooking away there, and when you make jam, you need some way to set the jam so it's not all liquid and runny when you're trying to put it on your toast. So you can either buy something like this, which is a jam setting agent, and you'll find this usually in the sugar section of your supermarket, because there's a special sugar called like a jam sugar that's got setting agent in the sugar, but that's quite expensive to buy. But what I do is I don't bother with that normally. I just use a small lemon, or I think you can use an orange as well. And I get my grater, and I just use the fine part of the grater, and just grate a little bit of the lemon. Now, you don't want to put too much lemon into the jam, because otherwise it will detract from the flavour of the other fruit and give you a little bit of a lemon flavour, unless that's what you want. So just kind of a little bit of lemon rind, not a lot, and then you grab your juicer and just a bit of lemon juice as well. So this is kind of a small lemon, and I probably only need half of it, the juice of half of it. So I've got my lemon ready, and the other thing I need is 500 grams of sugar. Okay, so we have 500 grams of fruit and 500 grams of sugar. So grab my scales here, and we just measure out 500 grams of sugar, and we're going to add this to the hot fruit pulp once the 10 minutes is up. Okay, so we've got the 500 grams of sugar, and we will come back soon and add that to the pulp. Wow, look at that. What a disaster. Yeah, don't listen to tips from Dad. Look what can happen. Things can go badly wrong. Well, I've been doing this thing for a long time, making jam like this, and this has never happened before. But here's a tip. When you put the jug into the microwave, put it in the center and make sure it's not tilting to one side, because what happened was the jug was in the microwave and it got tilted to one side, so the handle was up against where all the microwave energies come out, and while I was busy doing other things, the glass part of the jug was heating up with nuclear power being zapped into it and melting the handle of the jug. And when I took it out of the microwave and put it on the bench, as it cooled down, eventually there was this explosion and the jug went everywhere. So, important tip, put the jug in the center of the microwave, not tilting to one side. Now, after our disaster yesterday, I've got myself a new jug, so let's just quickly recap. We've put in our 500 grams of fruit there, and we have put in some jam setting agent in here, a bit of grated lemon, and a little bit of lemon juice there. And like I said, you can use something like that if you don't have lemons, and I think you can use oranges, but don't put too much in, otherwise it will detract from the flavour. So one important thing I didn't show you, you put a lid on at this stage. You've got your raw fruit in here, you put your lid on and you put it in the microwave on high for 10 minutes to cook this raw fruit before you add the sugar. For 10 minutes. And I'm just watching to make sure that is turning around nicely without the jug touching the sides of the microwave. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? There it is, going round and round in the microwave. Anyway, here we have our Feijoas that have been cooked in the microwave on high for 10 minutes, and so they're nice and soft and mushy. Put them on the scales, and we're going to add our 500 grams of sugar. So remember, we have 500 grams of fruit pulp, and we add an equal amount of sugar, so 500 grams of sugar goes in there. So we've added that 500 grams of sugar, and we just mix it up and dissolve it in the hot fruit. And we're going to now put it back in the microwave without the lid on it. Okay, so we put this in the microwave, make sure that it's right in the center of the revolving tray, and we're going to select a lower setting for the microwave power, so we're going to go down to 40% power, because we don't want the fruit rising up and spilling out over the top of the bowl. We just want it to bubble away inside the 2-litre jug. Okay, it's nearly done, and oh, I don't know whether you can see it. Let's open the door. Okay, look at that. It has just started to go over the edge, a very small amount, and we don't want that happening. Yeah, I mean, I think what I'd suggest is when you're cooking this, that you keep an eye on it, maybe do it in 10-minute segments, and maybe you might need to do 30% instead of 40%. This new jug that I got isn't quite as tall as the Pyrex one that I had, so yeah, it's maybe a little bit more prone to spilling over. Now it's pretty hot, so you'll need to have a oven mitt to hold on to it, and you can see there's just a little small amount that spilled over, not very much. If your tray is nice and clean, you can just scrape that back in there and give it a wipe. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to test to see whether this jam has been cooked enough, and so we're going to do a jam setting test. You can use a saucer or a little cup like this one, and just put a little bit in there, and we're going to, it's still, you know, you can see it looks pretty runny, and we're going to put this in the bottom of the, you put it in the fridge or in the freezer. So I've just put it in the bottom of the freezer, so that'll cool it down really fast, and when we check it, it should be quite sticky and thick like you would like it to be when you spread it on your toast. Now that's been in the fridge or the freezer for about 3 minutes now, 3 or 4 minutes, and you can see that it has actually got a reasonably thick consistency. If you're concerned that it's still a bit runny, you can pop it back in the microwave and give it another 5 minutes, but I suggest you do it on 30%. Now we can have a taste of this. That is amazing. Oh man, if you haven't had Feijoa jam, you have to try it. Okay, so the final step, we've got our jam ready to go. There's about 750 mils of jam there, so that's from our 500 grams of sugar and 500 grams of fruit pulp and a little bit of lemon juice, and that's all there is to it. Now the advantage of using the microwave to cook these small amounts of jam is that you don't have messy pots, you don't have to stand there stirring constantly so it doesn't burn on the bottom. It's just an easy way to do it, and I like easy. So we have to grab some jars, and like I said, there's 750 mils there, so we'll probably need about 3 jars, and these are just Dolmio pizza sauce jars that have been washed well in the dishwasher. And so it's still a good idea to pour a bit of boiling water in them, heat them up a bit, and make sure that they're nice and sterile. And I pour a little bit of water into a plate here, and I just chuck the lids into the plate, into the bowl, so that we sterilise the lids as well. And now we're ready. Now again, the good thing about using a jug is that you can just grab your jug, grab your jar, and you can pour the jam straight into the jar. One. Oh, looks like we only need 2 jars. There we have it, and the only thing we need to clean up at the end is the jug, which gets rinsed out and put in the dishwasher. So there you have it. There are our 2 beautiful jars of Feijoa jam made in the microwave. Took about half an hour to make, maybe 40 minutes, but most of that time was the microwave doing its job. And this jam, you'll never taste anything as good as this from what you buy in the supermarket. This is amazing, and it also is great if you can do it with kiwifruit, and any other fruit you might have growing around your area. Give it a go, and we'll see you next time.